If we have to, we have a housing authority. We have a lot of people living in apartments. If they need a place to go, what do we do? I mean, sometimes we're evacuating because of a storm, and sometimes
we have various shelters throughout the schools. Mr. Farina has been very good with the new, especially the new schools that we have. We have emergency generators in the school. The middle school can hold up to 3,000 people. High school, 4,000 people. We have a new Anastasia school on 7th Avenue, which holds 1,000. We have a Gregory school being built, which will hold 1,000.
So we've got places.
So basically, we have places for them to go. On a smaller scale, a lot of times we get a smaller scale with a snowstorm or something, or a power outage or something that we need to get people out of their homes. We use our EOC center at fire headquarters, which can hold 30 to 40, 50 people at a time.
What was that center?
Our emergency operating center. We have a meeting room there. We can feed them there. We have an emergency generator.
That's the fire headquarters on Union Avenue.
Yes. Also, the schools are equipped to sustain themselves for over 3 days, 3 to 4 days, with food and waters already supplied in the school.
Do we have, that was going to be my question, because one of the things that was really horrible to see in New Orleans was they had people going to a center that wasn't equipped to handle them in any way, shape, or form.
Yes.
And nobody knew they were there.
Yes.
I mean, other than the millions who watched
come
TV.
up with a plan, and we've made sure that that will not happen in Long Branch.
Yeah. Where's the food coming from?
Food basically is coming from the food service that is in the schools, supplied, plus the water. Plus we have various businesses in town that we have an agreement with, that when we have storms, even when we have major fires where we need to get refreshments to the firemen, water, something to have them recoup.
Let me, you just hit on something that I don't know if people realize. I mean, we have the paid fire drivers, but you have a lot of volunteers. I mean, in a storm, you'll get a couple hundred people out there.
Yes, when we draw from all the different agencies, police, fire, first aid, and storm. We have over 400 firemen in town. We have 150 certified firemen in town.
The certification's only
for fighting fire. We can use the other 250 for anything that we want to do.
Answer phones, physical labor,
exactly.
Drive a car, whatever.
During a storm, we open up our emergency operating center, which the number is the emergency management number is 571-6575, and that is call forwarded there. That takes the pressure off the police department in case of any type of emergencies other than police emergencies. That we answer the phone. We had a bank of people stand there basically and answer the phones, send the calls out. We do our own dispatching for fire during major storms, and cover all the avenues.
So storm hits. We've already hit on things that didn't happen in New Orleans. We're ready to go a couple days in advance most of the time.
Yes.
Have we ever been? I know that the '92 storm, we learned a lot from that. I mean,
absolutely.
What didn't we have in place then? And we did a pretty good job. We got people in the shelters. We evacuated the Imperial House on Ocean Avenue. We got people out of North Long Branch. We figured it out. What didn't we have in place then that we have in place now?
Well, one of the main things we have now, we have emergency evacuation routes with signs set up on the streets, which is Jelline Avenue, Highway 36. We have Cedar Avenue. We have Broadway to get people out of town.
Mm-hmm.
We have the Army vehicles that we talked about, so we're not using the fire apparatus to go in. We now have the bank of phones and the emergency operating center, which we did not have back then.
We also have a radio station.
Have a radio station, 1620. Which is put on for emergencies through the Fire Bureau and through the Office of Emergency Management. The light flashes on the street to tell you to tune to the Emergency Operating Center.
In terms of the planning process, now you weren't involved before then, but do they give you, I'm assuming, I'm going to learn something now, that we have to update and upgrade what we're doing constantly.
Yes. When I took over in 1993, we did not have an emergency operating plan in effect in the city of Long Branch. It took basically 3 years and a lot of help from Joe Valentino, Officer Charles Shirley at the time, and quite a few others to put this plan together. After that, it has to be reviewed every 3 years. And we've just currently updated that. We rewrite the plan for what we feel it's the need of the city at this current year. And then we submit that to Monmouth County Office of Emergency Management, who in turn reviews it, then submits it to the State Office of Emergency Management. And again, this year we just got a recertification for another 3 years.
Okay. There are points where you deal directly with FEMA. Now, Federal Emergency Management Agency.
Yes, sir.
And they have I can remember one, I'm trying to remember his name, but who was an engineer who ran FEMA.
Yes, believe it or not, every time, we've used FEMA twice since I have been in town. We had the big breach on after the 92 storm on the boardwalk.
Right.
Then I believe the storm was either 95 or 96, which took another section of the boardwalk. This was all before beach replenishment out. We had homes in North Long Branch that were underwater, and we've had very, very good success at that time with FEMA. We had never had a problem. They recouped the funds very fast.
Now, you were, I know, in the 92 storm, you weren't yet, well, you might, I don't think you had the formal title yet.
No, I did
but
not.
But there was a ton of paperwork. I want to say DNRs, but
DSRs. Disaster Survey Report.
Right. I mean, you did lots of
hours and hours. I mean, we had stacks over a foot high of doing it.
And how much money? We got back quite a bit of money.
Yeah, over $2 million.
Yeah. We're going to take a break in a minute. We'll come back because I want to talk about some of the things that the cities had to do to recoup money and even equipment and man hours so people have an understanding where the money comes from. So we'll be back in a minute.
Okay.